But the number of enemy troops are positively overwhelming. As hope runs out, as the unstoppable flood of Muslim troops reaches the Jerusalem city limits, Yahweh seems to say, "Well done, boys and girls. I'll take it from here." Zechariah paints the scene.
And this shall be the plague with which Yahweh will strike all the people who fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall dissolve while they stand on their feet. Their eyes shall dissolve within their sockets, and their tongues shall dissolve within their mouths. It shall come to pass in that day that a great panic from Yahweh will be among them. Zechariah 14:12-13.
Panic? No kidding, Zach. I'm admittedly extrapolating here, again, but I believe that the very next sentence, verse 13, offers us a clue as to what has happened.
Everyone will seize the hand of his neighbor, and raise his hand against his neighbor's hand.
We've already seen how among the troops of Gog,
every man's sword will be against his brother, and I will bring him to judgment with pestilence and bloodshed. Ezekiel 38:21-22.
Zechariah may be giving us a hint as to the nature of this pestilence. When the Muslims lose focus and turn on each other, which is something they've historically done far more frequently than attacking non-Muslims, they'll employ the biological or chemical weapons they intended to use against the Israelis, weapons that cause the gruesome symptoms described by Zechariah. This agent works so fast that the victim's flesh begins to rot away even before the corpse hits the floor. Don't misunderstand. It's not that I think Yahweh couldn't do this himself. I just don't think he will. Gruesome biochemical weapons are man's style. Using them is in our darkest nature, a nature that will be given free rein during this time of tribulation. I can guarantee that if I could come up with a formula that would do what Zechariah described, and I sent it to every government on earth, half of them would make up a batch and test it, and a third of them would manufacture it and stockpile it for some rainy day. I wouldn't be a bit surprised to learn that it already exists. In case you were wondering, it works on animals too.
Such also shall be the plague on the horse and the mule, on the camel and the donkey, on all the cattle that will be in the camps. So shall this plague be. Zechariah 14:15.
Notice that its deployment will be localized.
In those camps.
Perhaps the trickiest part about crushing Gog's armies within Israel will be managing to avoid killing the Israelis who are fighting with them in such close proximity. But it is this very selectivity that will convince the Jews that Yahweh has been fighting on their behalf.
Then Yahweh will be seen over them, and his arrow will go forth like lightning. Yahweh will blow the trumpet, and go with whirlwinds from the south. Yahweh of hosts will defend them. They shall devour and subdue with sling stones. They shall drink and roar as if with wine. They shall be filled with blood like basins, like the corners of the altar. Yahweh their God will save them in that day, as the flock of his people. For they shall be like the jewels of a crown, lifted like a banner over his land. Zechariah 9:14-16.
The single Hebrew word mistranslated lifted like a banner, nasas, means sparkling or glittering. Yahweh sees his people as precious jewels in his crown. Here, amid the pregnant metaphor of the trumpet of Yahweh, we see the final outcome of the battle. The Israelis are doing the fighting, devouring Gog with sling stones. This could mean missiles and artillery, but I think it's just as likely that Zechariah also meant weapons of opportunity, such as those David used to slay Goliath. Now as then, the Jews wield the weapons, and Yahweh provides the victory. Using a different metaphor, the prophet Micah confirms this.
Now also many nations have gathered against you, who say, Let her be defiled, and let her eye look upon Zion. But they do not know the thoughts of Yahweh, nor do they understand his counsel. For he will gather them like sheaves to the threshing floor. Arise and thresh, O daughters of Zion, for I will make your horn iron. and I will make your hooves bronze, and you shall beat in pieces many people. I will consecrate their grain to Yahweh, and their substance to Yahweh of the whole earth. Micah 4:9-13.
Malachi has the last word on the matter.
But to you who revere my name, the Son of Righteousness shall arise, with healing in his wings, and you shall go out and grow fat, like stall-fed calves. You shall trample the wicked, for they shall be ashes under the soles of your feet on the day that I do this, says Yahweh Almighty. Malachi 4:2-3.
Reverent Israelis, those who actually know and use God's name, not the Lord, not Hashem, not Jehovah, but Yahweh, will trample the wicked, but it is Yahweh himself who's doing it. We are also graphically reminded here of the fire Yahweh will use against Gog's forces.
They shall be ashes under the soles of your feet.
And Magog? Micah's imprecation against Assyria goes far beyond ancient Nineveh.
And it shall be in that day, says Yahweh, that I will cut off your horses from your midst, and destroy your chariots. I will cut off the cities of your land, and throw down all your strongholds. I will cut off sorceries from your hand, and you shall have no soothsayers. Your carved images I will also cut off, and your sacred pillars from your midst. You shall no more worship the work of your hands. I will pluck your wooden images from your midst. Thus I will destroy your cities, and I will execute vengeance in anger and fury on the nations that have not heard. Micah 5:10-15.
Vengeance on those who have not heard? That sounds totally unfair, but it's really just another mistranslation. The word heard is shama, meaning to listen, to take heed, pay attention, or hear in the sense of believing information and responding on the basis of having heard. It's the perfect description of Dar al-Islam. Yahweh is talking not about merely punishing nations for their naughty behavior. He's talking about dethroning their false gods. Islam holds 1.3 billion souls in bondage to a false god, Allah, who bears a striking resemblance to Halal ben Shakar, Lucifer, son of the dawn, the fallen spirit who poses as the sun god, the adversary of mankind, Satan himself. Gog's war against the Jews is in reality Allah's war against Yahweh. When it's all over, no one will call upon the name of Allah. Another false god will have bitten the dust.